Declares delight. Decluttering tonight is what allows you to adapt to changes in life. Boy, have I been through that lately. As a lot of I've had to adapt from being in 4 car accidents and being raped last year to one where I died and having to come back from that and starting a new business, which is this is part of, and just been on a really fast pace. And a lot of it is not an easy situation to adapt to changes. And I know for a lot of folks out there, it's not an easy issue to transition from one thing to the next. At one point I was afraid of death, and I'm not afraid of death anymore. But the one thing I do know is that change is on a continuous basis. The more you think things are going to stay the same, the more they change. It's kind of like the prices from the 1920s to the year 2019. They're entirely separate. We had the Industrial Revolution, and now we're on the internet age in the virtual world. And, it's just how we interact is very important. And so when you adapt to changes, there's always transitions in life. We're born. Hi, Charlotte. We're all born, and we pass through childhood learning skills, and and then we go into teenagers and we learn stuff, and then what goes on after that is entirely up to us. Usually what happens between the year you're born and thank you and the year you die, that's the space that you have to deal with in life. And as a result, it there's on a continuous basis there's change. I know for a lot of us like me, we are baby boomers. We are starting new careers and making new changes. Some people are becoming parents and or whatever. And if I can say a couple few changes, is that one way to deal with change and adapt to it is learn to be able to talk over things in a straightforward and honest way with people. Otherwise, people don't know where you're coming from, and that helps you to adapt with changes, whether it be relationships or people or places or things. And that's really an important thing. A second is to be able to adapt with changes, is to realize, a lot of times we get fear as a result of change, but fear is only a false belief. And that false belief is only what it is, and it's something to be scared of. But that's kind of the second thing that we deal with. But then when we realize that if we can put one foot in front of the other, then the world gets open and to us quite a bit. And thirdly, I'd like to bring to you guys is about the adapting to change, is realizing that we all face the issue of death, and how we face it is our you know we don't know when or how unless you take your by your own hand. And believe me, I've been through that experience where I tried to kill myself because I didn't feel like I was worth anything. And at that point, it was really hard for me to adapt to change. And now it's not I adapt to change. I tell people straight out. I have conversations with them. And then you have to make decisions on adapting to change. You either do it or you don't. And that's not always an easy choice on whether or not. There's an old saying: you either get off the pot and do something, or just sit there. And that's what happens. Basically, nothing happens unless you're willing and have the desire to adapt to changes. Because if you're able to adapt to a lot of changes in life, you're able to face the unknown and dream your dreams and have a life that you want. And I know for myself, I'm dreaming my dreams. It's not an easy road we toe sometimes when we want in pursuit of our dreams or our goals. And sometimes people will say, "You're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about." They're trying to push you down because they see what you're doing is worthwhile in something. But if you're able to adapt to change, there's nothing in this world that you can't, conquer, because you realize that change is what it is. It is what it is. And that's all it is. We should read nothing more into it. But there are emotional states we may go through at significant changes of death, birth, marriage, of whatever you say, shape or form, or religious practices, and or things that just happen in every life day. But the one great thing that we do have is our ability to make choice. And believe me, being able to realize that you have the ability to make choice and that you're not stuck, that's a biggie as far as being able to adapt to change. Is that if you don't like something, change it, you know, let people know. Sometimes you have to, say things like they are, and sounds harsh, but you got to put your foot down. And people may not always agree with you, but there's one thing I realize is if something affects my health or anything, I had to learn to adapt to change and deal with change. Otherwise, my blood sugars go up. Um, I have more pain in my joints and my arthritis, all sorts of things because negativity is present. And if we can't adapt to change, all we're going to get is negativity in our life. But if you're able to adapt to any kind of change, whether it be positive or negative, then you can have positive energy happen in your life. And I know for myself that weeding out the negativity in one's life can literally change your perspective on how to live your life and be able to have more courage to realize that decluttering allows you to adapt to life of change in life. And with that, I wish you a great declutter's delight for life, and may you always have peace, tranquility, and hope, love, compassion, and kindness, and realize it's about the heart. With that, I bid you adieu, blessings, and good night.